I'm going to go over the 5 things that you're going to need if you are having your period in the outdoors. And also these things should probably just be kept on you at all times in case your period does start unexpectedly when you are in the outdoors. Welcome to Roughing It with Ruth, the channel where everything is a bit rough around the edges. Having your period in the outdoors is not nearly as difficult as people tend to think. All you really need are the 5 things that I'm going to mention in this video to be able to deal with your period out there and not have to worry at all. So first up, I think this is the most important thing when you are dealing with your period in the outdoors, and that is having some way of getting clean, specifically for your own hands. What you're going to need to stay clean when you're dealing with your period is water, preferably nice filtered water, the same kind of water that you would want to be drinking, not some random stream that you're just plunging your hands into. You can also use things like biodegradable soap and hand sanitizer. Just remember that the pH balance of your nether regions is fairly important, and you don't want to be putting soap or hand sanitizer into your nethers if it is going to upset that pH balance. So if you are washing your hands with soap or using hand sanitizer to clean your hands, it's a really good idea to rinse them afterwards with nice clean filtered water. Then another thing that is really important for staying clean with your period is to have extra toilet paper with you. If you are one of the bidet crowd, which is just where you use a little squeezy bottle of water as a sort of fountain for your nether regions instead of using toilet paper, then just make sure that you have enough water to use your bidet effectively. And I would still definitely pack a little bit of toilet paper or perhaps some kind of reusable towel, because you definitely may need to do some wiping in addition to rinsing. Of course, you don't only want to keep yourself clean, you want to keep the environment clean as well. So you're also going to need some way of disposing of any of your trash that is connected to your period. So make sure that you have some kind of trash bag with you. A Ziploc bag works really well, but Ziploc bags do tend to be transparent. So what you can do is you can use duct tape to wrap around the Ziploc bag to make it opaque so that you can't see inside of it. Or you can use those little mini plastic bags that they usually sell for picking up dog poo for dog walkers. And you can put any of your products inside of that and tie that off, and then put that little baggie inside of your larger Ziploc trash bag. Although you're not meant to bury any of your period products, you are going to need some kind of a cat hole when you go to do your ablutions in the outdoors. So you are going to need something to dig with. A trowel is the most obvious option, literally a small little spade, but you can use other things as well. You can use things that you find in nature, like a stick or a rock. You can even use the heel of your shoe to kind of gouge a little divot in the dirt. Whatever you use, just make sure that you do actually dig that hole deep enough. As a rule of thumb, about 15 centimeters is appropriate, but you should also check the guidelines for the area that you will be visiting in case they have some special way of disposing of waste. The cat hole that you dig is where you are going to be dumping any bodily fluids that you might need to dump, as well as doing your business. And then in areas where you are allowed to bury your toilet paper, you can bury your toilet paper in that cat hole. In areas where you need to pack out your toilet paper, you can simply put the toilet paper inside of the opaque trash bag of your choice and put that inside your trash bag to pack out. And then the 4th thing that you're going to need, of course, is the actual products themselves that you're going to use to catch the blood from your period. There are actually a lot of different options out there. There are probably the more familiar options to most people, such as disposable pads and disposable tampons, but there are also things like menstrual cups and menstrual discs. Just find an option that works really well for you. And my recommendation is to make sure that you have used that product in your normal everyday life as much as possible and you're really comfortable with it before you go on a backpacking trip and use it. If you are using a brand new product in a situation where you might already be a little bit uncomfortable, like going to the toilet in the outdoors for the first time, It is just going to be a recipe for things to go wrong. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, number 5, are all of the extras that I think are really nice to have when you are having your period in the outdoors. For one thing, actual drugs, medication. I think if you struggle with a lot of cramping while you're having your period, then taking some kind of painkiller and anti-cramp medication is a really good idea, because you might be doing quite a lot of physical exertion out there. Also, make sure that you take some extra water with you, not just in terms of being able to clean your hands, as I mentioned earlier, but also to drink, because now you are losing a lot more fluid than you usually would because you are bleeding. So make sure that you have enough fluids to replace all of that, in addition to all of the sweat that you might be losing while hiking along the trail. Something else that I always make sure to take with is an extra change of clothes, just because accidents can happen out there and you do want to have a little bit more flexibility, particularly if it's your first time dealing with your period out on the trail. And then something else that I like to take with is a few comforting snacks when I'm having my period. I find that I get quite hungry and sometimes a little bit more emotional when I'm on my period, and having those comforting snacks can really help to just kind of lift your mood and keep you going. If you have any of your own tips for dealing with your period when out on the trail, then please leave them in the comments below, because I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more from me, then you can click on my channel name to see videos that I've made in the past, or you can subscribe to my channel to see videos that I'm going to make in the future.